They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe he had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
Oh, what's going on, all you playoff fantasy football fans out there? How are we doing today, Nate?
Doing great, Snickers. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah, we had the first round of the playoffs last week. If you all remember, Kyle last year called us out for never having a show host win a playoff game. Well, the drought is over. I won a playoff game last week, and on to the second round. And
congratulations, we did it.
We did it, yeah, together. And I know that you're working very hard to bring up the rear, perhaps.
Yeah. I'm going to put it out there right now. Guarantee not winning the toilet bowl, so I don't curse myself for the third year in a row.
Yeah, I think that you advertised too heavily on the toilet bowl thing, but that means that maybe not any number one pick for you.
Yeah, the number one pick sucked. So
yeah, you would think you'd have learned by now, but you haven't, and that's all right. And so you will have a few guests on the show today. A lot of playoff action to break down, and there was a correction that came in last week that Nick and I perhaps got the second round matchups wrong in terms of just which bye teams were in which side of the bracket. Blame it on Matt. He sent out a bracket that it looked like it was the other way around, and that's how we checked.
Shout out, Matt.
That's right. Shout out to Matt. Another playoff contender couldn't make it tonight, but we fixed it, and let's dig into the bracket. So now they're fixed. Week one for my team was 2 victories. Boom. And boom. Look at that. 2 happy faces, 2 points to the bet.
Yep.
I think that it might put it out of reach for you, but I haven't done the math.
Yeah, but we did have 2 different people going to the finals, so we're having more points this week. Add them all up together, and then finals winner. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so this is the second round of the playoffs. Actually, it still is possible for either of us to ultimately be right on the remaining matchups just because of how you didn't call either of the first round winners to continue.
Yeah, and you didn't have any of the 5 teams winning either, so it's going to be very interesting going into these playoffs with Matt and Kyle, or Matt and Kenny, Ducky and Kyle. So
yeah, it's and I think if we're digging into the first round of the playoffs, what we had here was 2 bad teams played each other and 2 good teams played each other. It was me versus Ducky, and we had a low scoring affair in which both of us scored under the 106 point average that our league had this year. Pretty surprising for 2 playoff teams, but
yeah,
I think it was kind of a slow week around the NFL. Could be wrong.
a decent amount of injuries, yeah, but you didn't have Jamar go off for insane amounts or anything. So
no, my team wasn't terrible. I had the Chargers get negative points. Besides that, everyone just kind of did okay.
You're playing the Chargers again this week, so good for you.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
Yeah, but yeah, no, you were right about Derrick Henry. I was watching that game, and Baltimore got up so much that Derrick just didn't even play in the second half, probably. So
yeah,
I thought Ducky might have got you there with the truck driver scoring as much as he did, being like the second best receiver on the week, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, CD Lamb had a very good week. Cooper Cup, though, was Gooser Cup.
Yeah,
Uh,
Cooper Goose was rough on Thursday last week.
that was a weird game. I'm not sure that that means anything going forward. That game just kind of was crap.
Yeah, it was in
Um,
the rain.
happened during the show, I believe.
Yeah,
And that kind of did it for him. If Cooper Cup had scored his average points, we would have been very tight, actually.
yeah,
Um, Alvin Kamara got injured. That didn't help either, although he did still get 15 points.
yeah. And you
Um,
you lucked out with Nico Collins having like 3 catches for 10 yards and 2 touchdowns.
absolutely. Yeah, this one definitely could have gone both ways. I also, he had Tajay Spears on his bench.
Hmm.
If he had played him, over Pacheco, that would have done the trick for him. Not that you would have occurred to anyone to do that. Tony
Yeah,
Pollard is a little bit hurt right now. Still have to think about whether I'm going to play him. But in the other matchup, which was a little bit more exciting, Matt had this awesome week, which
yeah.
keeps playing jokes on us.
No, Matt's doing incredible things, flying up into the playoffs here. As Stuckey kind of was in the 1 seed, dropped 4 out of 5 games, something like that, and now he's out of the playoffs. Nick said he's good squeaking in, and then Matt's like, get out of my way.
Yeah, they both played good quarterbacks. Matt is actually making good use of Rico Dowdle. Had an excellent week from Brian Thomas Jr. Jonnu
Oh
Smith
yeah,
continues to score. The Bengals had a good week randomly.
yeah. I mean, I picked up the Bengals in another league, and they're obviously the number one defense of the week for a reason, scoring 2 touchdowns against, or almost 2 touchdowns against the Titans. They pulled a Johnny Taylor and left the ball before the end zone again, but that's
Yeah,
that's rough.
so yeah, Nick's team performed admirably, but ultimately getting 166 points is just not going to happen.
Yeah,
That's one of those top 5 performances of the season in our league. Uh, and Saquon let him down, sure. Brock Bowers let him down, sure, but that wasn't really the story.
right.
Um, so on to the next round was me and Matt. Matt deserved it a little more than me, but I still have a chance to make a name for myself this playoffs. Um, but what's going on around the NFL?
Yeah, decent amount of injuries coming recently. Nick Chubb broke his foot, probably out this season. Kamara's out this week at least. My guy, David Montgomery, who's been carrying my team, dragging my team through the mud, out for the season MCL. Derek Carr's out. Spencer Rattler's in. Jalen Waddle's been hurt. Juno's hurt. And in quarterback news, there's been a couple changes around the league. Obviously, Rattler, Drew Lock coming back to start his 3rd game out of 5 because he starts and sucks and comes back in. The big news is number 8 pick in the draft, Michael Penix Jr. Washington's coming in to replace Kirk Cousins on the Falcons, playing the Giants. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how Penix can do against a really bad team.
I had not heard that actually. That is big news. I thought they were sticking with Kirk for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think if he does really well, obviously they'll stick with Penix. If they does bad, then they might turn back. But they $60 million to cut him, $40 million to trade him. Yeah,
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Kirk knows how to make money. Yeah.
people are saying he's done, but I don't see it. I mean, he came back from a big injury. He's not that old. He's
Yeah,
old, but I think it's possible he has a good season next year.
yeah.
Even
36 ain't what he used to be, but he is might not be playing with the Falcons anymore. So we'll see how it goes.
even if they have to spend $40 million to trade him.
Yeah,
We'll see. But um, we will now have our guests onto the show, our playoff contenders, at least some of them, right after a quick word from today's sponsor.
In a world filled with scum and villainy, there stands a beacon of hope. A small spark hoping to ignite the fire. An uprising that will break the chains of our oppressors. We are at a crossroad that will change the course of history. To defeat the Dutch will be to defeat evil. Rise up, Team USA, and take the reins of your destiny.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
Paid for by the Meat Snacks Corporation.
Yeah, thank you, Meat Snacks and JFK for joining the show. And now please welcome our guest. All right, welcome Shane. How you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, fellas?
Yeah, you guys had the free ride last week, and now you think you're going to take down me and Matt, huh?
Yeah, we all had a week off last week, right? Kyle, we had a week off, right?
Yeah, dude. I
Uh,
think you guys played games last week?
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about here, Nate.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, some of us did play games, some of us won those games, and then some of us lost, as it turns out. And so now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Snickers is fighting for his life to not be crowned the pooper of the year.
I'm trying hard not to win the toilet bowl, even though it's actually very easy to not win it, apparently.
It was a very bad week to be named Nick last week. Good
Certainly
thing that
was.
Santa guy's coming this week.
Yeah, my rival's out. I don't know what to do with myself anymore.
I know, we were really rooting for a finals appearance between you two.
Like now when I win, it's just gonna feel sad for me. Like, man, I could have beaten Nick one more time. Now I don't get to beat Nick again.
So do you care about beating Nick that much, or do you want to win your first championship in this league more?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing, Kenny, that Nick has won, and I think he's been in the finals maybe twice, and I don't know
Yeah.
that you've appeared in the finals yet. So
I don't believe I've ever made it out of the first round of the playoffs. So really,
Hmm.
already a winner. Already a winner in my book.
Yeah. They don't get too comfortable. Nick was saying when he was on the show a couple weeks ago that he was very happy just to be in the playoffs. He was at the 5 seed, ended up dropping down to 6 and getting a bad matchup against Matt, dropping 166 on him.
yeah,
I mean, that's his own fault. I mean, Nick never made the best decisions. I was his roommate, so I mean, I can tell you that. Like, yeah, that's classic for Nick.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, his team wasn't so bad, but he was playing against Matt, and unfortunately, I think your team has the 166 being dropped on you. You can just ask Kyle about that.
No, I don't see it happening this week.
And Kyle, you had come on the show last year to tell us how we neither of us have ever won a playoff game over the course of the
It's
show.
true. It,
And
it took you 3 seasons, but a host finally won a playoff game.
Yeah.
that's right. We do have, two playoff appearances over that time, but I did not win a playoff game last year. And this year, going to win it all. So I think that will, redeem the show, certainly.
Slow your roll there, Sparky. You still got to win the semis.
We'll see. We'll pull it up right now. I think, as you'll see, I'm heavily favored in this matchup, I'm sure. I haven't checked it out quite yet.
I'm quite confident because I looked earlier that ESPN thinks very differently.
Let's see. So yeah, I have 116. I can't see yours. It's hidden behind the people here. 128. ESPN thinks you're going to 128, Kenny.
Yeah. I don't see a problem here.
Interesting. So I think the three of us will find it very easy to break down why ESPN is wrong.
Again, Nate, as I said last week, I will keep receipts. So by all means, tell me how ESPN is wrong.
Yeah,
I will remind you next week.
Well, why don't you jump in, Kyle, and tell us how it's wrong? If you miss anything, I'll be sure to jump in. But
I mean, yeah, I think ESPN has this one pretty nailed. I mean that Jameer Gibbs being the lone guy left in Detroit. I don't know, maybe they're going to ask him to play defense too because they're really struggling over there. But that's quite the force.
Get him an interception. I'm all for it.
So yeah, I mean, between Hurts and Gibbs, that's a pretty bad duo you got to go against there, Nate.
And number one wide receiver, Jordan Addison.
It's true.
Not on my bench this week. For now.
This
Yeah,
really
but Nate,
seems
how-
like maybe the week to play Quentin Johnston or DeAndre Hopkins, though.
Nate, you can try to make this easier for yourself. It's not going to get easier. I'm not going to make a bad decision. I mean, I will, but I made bad decisions earlier. That's a different story. Different story.
What are you about to
Yeah.
say, Nick?
No, I was going to say, how are you going to feel if Chuba
beats you and knocks you out of the playoffs. That's your guy.
That's true. There is the revenge of the Hubbard coming here because I knocked you out of the playoffs with Chuba Hubbard last year.
That is true.
He's coming for me, but the thing is, I have the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack. Since I've gotten that stack, I have not lost, I believe. I don't see why I would start now. They're playing Cleveland. Hopefully Jameis starts. If he doesn't start, that'd be very bad news for me. But if he does, it's gonna
Jameis
be a
is not
shootout.
starting. I'm
DDR
pretty
is
sure
in.
they already announced he is not starting.
No.
Well, he'll be put in anyways. They need him.
I have to ask you, Nate, what are your concern levels for Joe Burrow, who is currently trying to buy the Batmobile? Do you think that's going to affect his play this weekend?
I had not heard the news about the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I thought he already bought it and it's just going to take 2 years to
Oh,
ship
did
it
he?
to him or something.
It's that, and then what he also bought his offensive lineman katanas.
Okay.
I see.
That was the offensive lineman gift this year was katanas.
Yeah, who needs a watch, man?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Why is it going to take him so long to get the Batmobile shipped to Cincinnati?
I have no idea. Kyle might have more of the story, but
You think a katana would be like a 15-yard penalty, or is that like a 30?
No, but you see, the problem is the defense is going to hit the offensive lineman with his helmet to the knee, and it's offsetting penalty. So decapitation with a katana, that offsets with the helmet to the knee.
Good point. And yeah, I do think that offensive linemen armed with katanas will probably do a pretty good job of protecting Joe. Get him time to check it downfield to Jamar Chase.
I don't know, but I
And-
mean, divisional matchups, you can never really predict what exactly happens in them. Those are the tough ones.
They are weird. This year, the matchups in that division have been pretty epic for the most part. So, I mean, Cleveland is obviously terrible, but
Yeah.
I'm still feeling very optimistic. And I might even give Kendra Miller the start. I know that Tony Pollard's hurting. I could have some fresh legs running back in there.
yeah, you could have started Gus Edwards, who already has a touchdown.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
Missing out.
That's poor coaching.
I think he's the best running back on your team since you picked him up off waivers. I don't know why you haven't played him, but that's your choice.
So Kyle, clearly you're calling it on the side of Kenny. Where do you call this one, Nick?
Yeah, matching up, I think you have the best individual player, Nate, and the best stack. But yeah, Kenny's looking pretty stacked over here. First time champ last year, first time trying to be the first time champ this year. I think Kenny's gonna be able to take this, and your Chargers defense keeps going down and down since we started this segment.
Yeah, they just gave him a touchdown. But that's the last one of the game.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
get some picks.
I just gotta say just real quick, me and Kenny entered this year without a third-round pick. And, look at us, huh?
Yeah.
Look at us, like that meme.
I also made it in without a second round pick.
What happened to your second round pick?
I traded to Matt last year for Saquon last year before I didn't make the playoffs. So I picked in the first round and I didn't pick again till the fourth.
Hmm.
Well, and you must have picked Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round.
I believe so, yes. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs was first overall.
Well,
First round overall.
And then you did manage to snag Puka through some kind of trade in the offseason or early season.
Yeah, that was off-season trade with that's why I didn't have the third round. I traded my third round to Ducky for Puka.
Nice. And that kind of made up for that pick because he was going second round.
Yes.
And that turned out to be maybe the move that killed his season. Because if he just had Puka instead of Cooper Kupp, he would be playing right now. Now let's look at the other matchup though. We have Matt versus you, Kyle. This one is a little bit closer. You also have a huge projected total right now at 127 or 128 to his 124. What's the story to your victory?
I think this is finally the week. I don't know if you guys are aware of the whole Trey McBride hasn't caught a touchdown. I think he just broke the record for most catches without a touchdown.
Yeah.
Great matchup against Carolina. So I think this is finally the week to not only get one, but maybe multiple. And
Kyle is guaranteed.
Yeah, if you can, if you can catch a couple, then obviously that would um, mean that Kyler had a good game as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, James Cook too against New England's defense sucks. I mean, that could be a big game for him. Chase Brown has been awesome since he's been acquired on my team. So, yeah, I feel pretty confident.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this could
no.
be one of those games where you are having to rely on your kicker to take it home for you, though.
Yeah, obviously, looking at Matt's team, I mean, he's got the two. I mean, Lamar and Josh Jacobs are definitely scary. I mean, especially that Josh Jacobs on Monday night. I mean, in Green Bay, who knows how bad the weather can be? I mean, New Orleans, I don't know who the heck they're starting at QB. They just lost Kamara too, so it's like
Yeah, man.
Josh Jacobs is definitely very scary. I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable with like a 20, 30 point lead heading into Monday night, but I don't know. I
24
always
point
sort of,
projection for old Josh Jacobs, man. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Against
even
the
higher than
Saints, who
Jahmyr
have
Gibbs.
nobody, but still, yeah.
right. So yeah, I'm just sort of hoping that I don't know, maybe there's a defensive Green Bay touchdown in that game. Maybe a couple Jordan Love passing TDs early. They get ahead, and I mean Jacobs has just gotten a crap ton of carries recently. So maybe get ahead early, give him a little break, and that'll be my ticket out.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, every 6 points Josh Jacobs gets, Brandon McManus gets one. So you're almost there on the catch up.
True, that is true.
Yeah. And what do you think, Kenny? Who's winning this week?
This is, I think, like Nate, you and I think while ESPN has it projected reasonably high, I think may end up right around there. This one has potential to be an absolute shootout.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of players on these rosters that have a chance to just absolutely explode. Like it wouldn't surprise me if we see both of you guys score over 130. Would not shock me in the slightest.
Both did last week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think mostly because of Chase Brown, I'm going to give the edge to Kyle. I think Chase Brown is one of the greatest pickups off of waivers this year. I think that was a smart move. I see a lot of great potential on Kyle's team. I think Kyle's team gets there. I also am kind of rooting for it because I mean I want the narrative of Matt made a terrible trade in the middle of the season. I want to be able to roast him for it for the next 6 months. But I think Kyle gets the edge here, but it's gonna. I think this one has the potential to be like a 135 to 131 match.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that trade, Kenneth Walker is projected to play as of right now. So he goes in over Jacoby, he gets a couple tutties against Minnesota.
Matt, you
And
didn't hear that. Matt, don't listen to this part of the podcast.
definitely still monitor it, Matt. He might still get rolled out, but
Yeah, meanwhile on your side, Kyle, I know we had also made a trade this year. It looks like Jamison Williams is riding the bench though.
He might make his way into the starting lineup. I mean that the Cincy game, well, obviously Chase Brown's not coming out, but that Cincinnati Cleveland game could be a blowout in Cincinnati's favor, and maybe even a couple defensive touchdowns there. So I don't know if T is gonna stay in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I would be nervous about that too.
If he doesn't get the early scores or the early touchdowns, it could be a big egg, big goose in the lineup there. Whereas as with Jamison Williams now, I mean the Lions just lost one of their better running backs, so maybe they'll throw the ball more. And so I don't know. There's some roster fluctuation in the air.
No, yeah.
Certainly. Yeah, I personally am calling this one on Matt's side as the world knows. It almost sounds like the worst case scenario for everybody when we and Matt face off in the finals. And no one knows what to believe about the trade that shocked the league.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Let's just take a quick look at the offers report. Our teams really weren't that well. Actually, you went kind of hard in the paint here, Kyle. Except for a kicker. What was it behind the $15 on the kicker?
Yeah, well, last week I just dropped my kicker just to pick up a backup running back. Who knows if there was an injury that happened, maybe you can throw that running back into the lineup. But so I needed to pick up a kicker. I had $30 to spend, so might as well get a kicker that I want. And then I think the Seahawks for that defense, they have a good matchup next week. So if I were to win and move on, I'd get my defense ready for next week. So had $30 left. Doesn't roll over to next year. So
Yeah.
You do know there is one more week.
Yeah, I do. I feel confident about filling out my roster next week, and like I just said, I just picked up a defense I would want to play next week, so I feel fine having $0 left.
I see. So if you are in the finals and there's a huge waiver wire pickup, though, you will lose it, even if my $1 gets bid over it.
My team is better than any waiver wire pickup.
Yeah, I can't think for a moment about who that waiver wire pickup would be, but I'm sure there's someone out there who exists. But you're right, low likelihood. Um, Matt also made kind of the shrewd move to pick up Jalen McMillan. Doesn't look like he's in the lineup right now against you, but he has been doing very well recently.
Oh yeah, last week was huge.
And then Nick, I saw that you made some shrewd pickups of your own. Decided to let Raheem Mostert back on the team.
Yeah, drafted them, got him back on the team because I don't have any running backs. They've all been injured. So, and got my guy Tim Patrick, Fireball Jones. I want to see if I can win a couple games with him here.
Yeah, Fireball Jones making his revenge tour, maybe stealing all the touches from Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Anything else you want to add to the people looking on to your teams this week? Why root for you?
Best of luck to everyone, Kenny, Nate, Matt, if you're listening. It's fun. I always enjoy very competitive. I always enjoy being at this point of the season in this league. I've certainly not been in this position a lot last year and maybe one other year prior. So always fun to be in the final four. And yeah, best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, best of luck to you as well, Kyle. Nate, not as much luck, just nothing personal, but not wishing you as much. But I made the playoffs all of like I think two times in the league history. I haven't made it very often. Was kind of a shock to even make it to the one seed. Of kind of going into the season, I figured, I'll make a big trade. I'll get Puka. If this year goes bottoms up, it is what it is. We'll worry about next year. Plan a little ahead for the future, and to come out of the regular season as the one seed was a bit of a shock to me. But I felt that I did my best to play my cards right, and here I am.
Yeah, I am excited to see it as much as I crap on your team all the time, Kenny. It is cool to see you rise to the top, and it'll be fun to take you down.
Minus the second half.
We'll see. That's the great part about it is we will find out. And I'm not too worried, but thank you guys for joining the show today, and we'll I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Always a pleasure being in the quad box.
Oh yeah.
That's all right.
Shout out Scott Hansen. We love a quad box. We love an octo box. Shout out Red Zone.
That's right. See you guys.
See ya.
All right, everyone. Now, before we let you go this evening, we just have a quick word from Caitlin's Hot Takes.
Going tonight?
Yeah, doing well. We were just talking playoffs. I know, Monty, that you're also a fantasy football player. You got some playoffs going on as well. Are you in those?
5 fantasy teams. Surprisingly, only one is in the playoffs right now. It's been a rough year, I'll be honest.
Yikes. Yeah, 5 fantasy teams, though. I guess a good way to roll the dice and have one come up.
We're not in my favor, though.
And you are now Caitlin's guests for the second time. What are you guys hoping to talk about tonight?
Well, we're just talking about a few conspiracies that we could get you and Nick's takes on them.
Sure.
Conspiracies. Okay.
Monty, do you want to start?
So, first one, we think the NFL is scripted. So, I have 3 points to this. Number one, the spreads, for the most part, have always been insanely accurate, like week after week. I don't know how they do it. Number two, the Chiefs have been bailed out all year by the refs. There's no denying that. Every single game, there's always a flag to save them. Number three, David Montgomery. He has 775 rushing yards. He suffers
Needs
a torn
775 and a half to
half yard
yeah.
short of his preseason rushing prop. Like, that's insane. How do they keep doing it?
Yeah, all good points. My only counter argument would be that people hate the Chiefs. They don't want them to keep winning. I think they would be very popular to see them see them lose this year, unless the big loss is still coming.
Counter to that is Taylor Swift. That brings in so many viewers. Like the entire female audience of football is watching the Chiefs because of her.
Yeah.
They
No, the
need the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
You definitely have a point with the Chiefs. That being said, Taylor was not at the game last week. But I did say very drunkenly to Ducky before the season started that the only reason I would like the Chiefs to win is if Carson Wentz comes in as the backup and wins the Super Bowl. And it looks like Mahomes is probably his ankle's fine. He's probably playing this week, but Wentz did come in last week, and I thought for a second that I was thought of something that 6 months in advance.
It did look bad.
It did look bad. It still
He's
is.
fine. He's
I
fine.
feel like it's not too late for it to like. I feel like that's the kind of thing that can get worse, right? Run on that, just turn it a little bit, and now he's out a couple games.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rooting for it, but so no, very suspicious on the other two, though. I understand the lines have been accurate this year, and David Montgomery, poor guy, very accurate line. What other conspiracies do you have to share?
Should I share the photo regarding Taylor and Travis?
Segue. We're talking about the Chiefs.
All right, show us.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, you've disabled screen sharing, so I can't. But I'll send it in the chat and see what you guys think.
Another conspiracy.
All right, another conspiracy. Conspiracy solved. Share away.
Do you think that so Travis threw Taylor a huge party for the end of her Eras tour, and she's shown kind of trying to block her ring finger with her pinky, and some fans think that it's been blurred out a little bit.
Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Is this one of those red dress, blue dress things?
Okay, scroll down. That's not it.
It looks like it's pretty clear on that picture. That's the only picture.
No, that's her middle finger, not her ring finger.
I hate to tell you, Caitlin, this is the only picture we've got.
Oh, sorry, I must have sent the I think when I clicked on the Twitter, it
You can scroll down the article. It shows the tweet from the Daily Mirror.
Meanwhile,
sorry,
we're also getting pop-up blocks. But I'm not sure we're gonna be able to see this picture, Caitlin. But I'm sure we all agree that the what is it? The wedding ring is being concealed.
Yeah.
And why would that
her
be?
engagement ring? Because she's like going like, let me see if I can do it with
She's
mine.
like hiding it with her pinky.
Yeah, it's like this.
This photo?
She's in all her photos. No, that's not it. It's I would have just shared my screen. It's fine though. But like all her pictures are like this, at the party.
That's just how she holds her hand.
Yeah, that's just how she holds her hand.
Do you think she's been doing that for 10 years for this moment?
I wouldn't be surprised. She definitely puts that much effort into controlling her image. So wouldn't be surprised. I respect it.
What do you think about this theory, Monty? Is Taylor Swift married and does she have kids?
I don't think she's married and I don't think she has kids, but I do see him proposing at least in the next year.
Do you think it will matter whether he wins the Super Bowl or not?
No.
Do you
But
think
I
they
think
just
a lot of
blurred
people are
her
gonna debate
finger?
that though.
Do you think they just blurred her finger so we'd be talking about it?
That is, if so, it worked, right?
Do you think she lost a finger?
You can see enough of the finger. It's just the ring area that's blocked.
Is it possible that she has hairy fingers and that's what they were editing out?
I mean, I guess.
Or they know that Patrick Mahomes got hurt and they need people to watch the Chiefs again.
That could be. Is he sleeping with Taylor Swift? We'll never know. But thank you for sharing your thoughts on the show tonight. We have to let you go, and hope you all join next week.
We
Take
actually
care.
have more questions for next week.
Great.
No, bring him on.